It's snowing and I have a new K-Mini to review. That was the worst song ever. Hey there everyone, I am Crunchy Scott and it is snowing outside today. Maybe you can see out my window a little bit. It looks a little white, but which I love. I love the snow, but that also means that I cannot go out and get my morning cup of coffee. But that's no big deal because I have this. Look, it is the Keurig's new K Mini. I am so excited to try this thing. My Keurig died a couple weeks ago and I've been kind of lost without her. So I was really excited to see this. So I just decided, you know what I'll do is I'll just kind of unbox it in this video. What I'll do is I'll take it out. I'll show you all the good features of it. We'll clean it because you do have to kind of push some new water through it to get it nice and clean. Then I'll show you all the good features of the new K Mini, and then we'll brew a cup of coffee and I'll tell you how it is. So I thought that would be fun to do on this snow day here in Washington, D.C. So let's get started. Oh, and I'll also show you my old model so we can compare the two side by side. Sounds good, right? All right, so here it is head on. Nice little slender shot, a little skinnier than the old model. And then there's the side shot. Really nice looking thing. So you can see it's much less wider than the some of the older models, definitely less wide than the model that I had. This one I think is less than 5 inches, like maybe 4.5, something like that. And then the height, I think it might be a skosh taller than the model I had, but it's right at a foot. So still small enough to fit under your cabinets, which is where mine is going. I've got some top cabinets and this goes right under there with my blender. But anyway, so that's what it looks like. It's really nice and slick looking. It reminds me of some like the hotel ones, nice and compact, which I love. So here on the side, this is the side view. Here's the little place where you pop the little pod in, which is different because remember the old pod kind of like pushed forward and you could see it from the front. This actually is just a top drop. So there's that. And then this is the water reservoir. I think it holds 12 ounces. Yeah, 12 ounces. And I think the recommended is like 6 is the minimum, max is the 12. So that's it, just pours right in there, which is really nice. And I don't mind the single pour coffee machines. I think they're just fine for me, especially since I'm only brewing like maybe 1 cup of coffee a day. And that is the top. So this is the indicator. This is the indicator light now when it's brewing. That'll turn blue and I'll show you that in a minute when we start brewing our coffee. And then you see the power light there. Pretty easy, right? And then I'll show you, of course, there is where we're gonna put it. It's got a nice little drip tray that is removable so you can clean it. And then I think, oh yeah, there you go. Okay, so there's the tray if you have a taller mug, so you can remove all that and you can brew your nice tall cup of coffee before you go, you know, the kind that you a travel mug, that's what that's called. So in all, it's a really nice looking machine. I love it. It's nice and compact, easy to use. So why don't we do this? Let's clean it. You have to pour some water in it to clean it. So let's do that first before we brew our coffee. Okay, before I brew our little, just our water, I forgot to show you that in the back, it's got this nice retractable, or it's not really retractable, but it's like a hideaway. So I think you can just keep shoving this back inside once you're done using with it. And I'm not sure how much, but it looks like a pretty good amount, like probably, is that it? No, that's it. Okay, so it doesn't have like a ton of length, but you probably don't need a ton of length if you're right under your kitchen counter there. Okay, so there it is. I'm gonna turn it on. And there we go. And sorry, I'm not gonna show you the whole thing, but I'm gonna pour the water in the little thing. I'll show you that part when we actually brew the coffee. So 10 ounces of water is going in. There's my little booty mug. I'm pushing the top button there to brew our way through. And how do you like my mug? These are all the different shapes of butts that people have, or that maybe you might want. That's a good butt. That's kind of like a flat butt. That's a little bubble butt. That's a real bubble butt right there. Can you hear it? Should I shift my mug so you can see the other butts on the other side of the mug? There you go. I won't use this mug when I brew my real cup of coffee. I'll use a clear mug so you can see everything. There we go. So this is the cleaner one. This is not going to be coffee. This is just going to be water. I'm cleaning the system out. I would say that was about, from the time I actually hit it correctly to the time it brewed, it was about a minute, maybe a little bit less. I'm totally fine with that. Gosh, it seems like maybe my old one was older, but that's a much heavier stream than what my old model used to do. All right, and it brewed in about, what was that, like 30 seconds? Not even? The actual dispensing of the hot water, which will be coffee. Okay. All right. That's not so bad. Little bumps along the way from, I think, completely from my end. What happened, I think, is all the lights in here. I couldn't see the blue light on top of the Keurig well enough. So I wasn't for sure if I hit it. But all in all, still we're at less than 2 minutes for all, even with the little hiccups, and everything is just fine. So now let's brew some coffee because I need coffee. It's snowing so hard outside. Okay, I'm going off the tripod for this because I feel like it might look a little bit better. So there is the water reservoir. Really easy. You open that up, and I've got my mug here. Scott, don't spill it all, which I just did spill a bunch of it, but that's okay. So there it is. There is all the water, pretty easy. Close that baby up, put her back on the little thing, and then here are the buttons I was telling you about. So I think it shuts off after a quick amount of time, so I'm gonna go ahead and hit the power button again. Yep, see, and it turned blue. You might not be able to tell that because of all the lights that I've got going on here. And then there is the brew button, so you hit that when you're ready, and it turns this little part right here will turn blue when it starts to brew. But there's where the mug is. You can see it's a nice little setup. Oh crap! I forgot to put the K-Cup in. Welcome to the worst demo ever of the K-Mini. Sorry about that. Okay, so here it is. I'm using a Trader Joe's French vanilla. I really like these. There is the pod access point. Pop that baby down in there. Looking very familiar, I'm sure. Okay, I heard it pop. And then we push. Oh, you see the little blue indicator light is up now. Okay, that's correct, Scott. Good job. And then we'll go. Oh, and it automatically started. Wow. Okay, well, that's pretty good. And then there's where the mug is. And we'll see her. Sorry, no butt mug for this one. I wanted you to be able to see it. By the way, I've had this glass mug for like 20 years. And I actually think I got it at Target 20 years ago. So it makes that familiar noise as it's heating up, which I love that noise because it lets me know that coffee is like less than a minute away. And it should start here pretty soon. And you can see the indicator light or the little blue light doing its thing like, okay, we're about to make magic. Hello? Hello? Okay, I hear it. This definitely feels longer to me, but it's probably just because I'm recording it. All right. I would say that's like a solid minute, to be honest with you, between the time we pour in the water and hit the buttons and everything. That's not terrible. It might have been the same way for the other one, I just didn't know. Oh, it's so good. It's going to be so perfect because it's like we got about 6 inches of snow on the ground here in DC. Nice cup of coffee. There's what's the blue light that's fully on right now because it's brewing. Oh, hurry! I feel like I should sing a song. So real quick before we get into the taste testing, I did want to show you the old and new versions side by side. And actually, I don't even know if this is an iteration of this one or not. This is just the one that I had. But I did want to say something nice about this old girl before I give her up for good, before she died on me. So I got her about 4 years ago, and she was actually a hand-me-down when I got her, so she had some use then. And she lived in my office for about 2.5 years, my personal office at work. And I would say on a daily basis, she would make at least 3 to 5 cups of coffee because tons of people would pop into my office and say, hey, can I make a quick cup of coffee in your Keurig? And then I would say about 2.5 years later, after it became really popular, the office manager actually got a Keurig for each floor of our building because people loved this little thing so much. So she was a workhorse. After that, she came home with me. I had never had a coffee maker in my house until I had this. I really never started drinking coffee until I was in my 40s. So this thing, I brought her home and she lived for another 1.5 years before she finally just was like, I cannot make another cup of coffee. Please send me to Keurig heaven. So lasted, I would say 4 years, like working like crazy. Coincidentally, when I was home for Christmas a couple weeks ago, my mom's Keurig died that same week. She had a better model than this because I gave it to her for Christmas probably about, I would say 3 years ago we figured out. And so she worked quite a bit. That probably made a cup or two, a cup of coffee a day for 3 years. So I thought at first that was a little early for it to die out, 3 years. But then I started thinking, maybe I'm a pessimist, but I just do not expect anything made today to last that long. 3 to 4 or 5 years is like a really good amount of time, in my opinion. I think the days of like, oh, I've had that blender for 20 years or I've had that whatever for 20 years, those days are over. These things are made now to work, and then give out so that you buy another pretty color and, live on for another life. With that said, I do have a couple of appliances that I have had for quite a bit. Like my Magic Bullet is like, oh my gosh, that thing is almost 20 years old. But anyways, so I just wanted to show her. She was great. You can see the differences. Fatter, a little chunkier, much slimmer. This one I didn't mention does come in like a sea foamy kind of bluey green color. Usually I love all the different colors, but just with what I have in my kitchen right now, I was like, okay, black and then this chrome, I think it would go much better. Because, usually I'd be like, oh, I want orange because that's the color in my kitchen. But no, this is fine. This will work out just well. And I'm sure it's only a matter of time before this model comes out in every color under the sun. Mark my word on that. But with that said, I do love this new machine. I loved this old machine. I think this one is still around because at first I started looking, when I started looking to replace her, I thought, or replace this one, I did kind of think about, oh, should I just get a bunch of, they have every color under the rainbow. Maybe I should just continue with this model. But I'm glad I went with the newer model because like I said, she's slimmer. She fits on my counter a little bit better. The color definitely goes better than this one. This maroon was like, this matches nothing of mine. So anyways, but I still love her. I will give her a proper burial, and she did a great job in her life with Crunchy Scott. Look at that. So that is way too hot to drink right now. So I thought while it cools off, I will talk to you a little bit about what I normally use in my Keurig. I don't usually use these K-Cups, the ready-made ones. I do have a backup stash in my Wonder Woman lunchbox, as you can see, of ready-made flavors. These are the ones from Trader Joe's. I bought the holiday flavor mix because it had some really good ones like mint and French vanilla and all sorts of like caramelly ones. They were really good. So this is what I use in a pickle when I am out of my regular coffee because I use these reusable pods. That's what I normally use. But I really hadn't deep dived into the manual yet, so I didn't want to use this in here without reading up on that first because I don't want to hurt or mess up anything. I'm assuming it works the same or somewhere similar. I think you have to take out a piece to put the reusable pods in. I'm not really for sure how it works, like I said. But what I'll do is I'll probably read up on it and then maybe do one of these in maybe on my Instagram as a video or something like that. But I also wanted to do it this way because I figured that's the way everybody's normally going to do it. Most people do use the ready-made pods, which I know there's a lot of environmental issues that we talk about. Some of them are reusable now. I like the Trader Joe's one because there's less stuff that you could, there's less crap basically in there. You do have to keep them sealed though, because they have like a mesh thing that can make your coffee go bad, I think. So if you just leave it out in the air, but that's no big deal. So anyways, here is the coffee. It's still piping hot, but you know what? Look at all that snow. I can't wait to get on my sofa and drink this, but I will test it. I'll test it right now. Oh gosh, really good. Really good cup of coffee, as if it had dripped out of a coffee machine from 1982 in my mom's kitchen when I could smell it as a little kid from the bedroom, knowing that it was time to get up and go to school. Or get up and go play in the snow, which is what I'm gonna do. Okay guys, I hope you liked this video. I don't do a lot of reviews on my channel. Usually you'll find me in my kitchen making 80s, turning 80s television, music, movies, all into recipes. Vegan recipes. And speaking of recipes, I have 2 on my channel that you should check out if you love coffee. I have a coffee cake that is inspired by the Brady Bunch. Yes, that is really true. And then I have a Charlie Brown cafe, what was it, a cafe latte, a Charlie Brown latte that I made a couple months ago that is really delicious. And you can totally use your K-Mini to make that. So check those out. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel if you would. I would really appreciate it. Otherwise, go out and play in the snow and then come inside and have a nice cup of coffee. And let me know what your favorite cup of coffee is. Oh yeah, I forgot. I'm supposed to be more interactive. Let me know what your favorite kind of coffee is to make in your Keurig. Or let me know just what kind of coffee you like. I like to hear that too. Or if you have a K-Mini, I want to know if you like it or not. That's what I want to know. And the most important thing, this video is not sponsored. But like I wouldn't take a sponsorship from Keurig. Oh Lord. Bye.